South Africa is railing tonight after the Democratic Alliance, DA, dropped what they claim is undeniable evidence linking President Cyril Ramaphosa to hidden offshore wealth allegedly accumulated through corrupt financial networks. Before we break down every shocking detail, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because the story is far from over. What's emerging could rewrite everything we know about power, politics, and corruption in South Africa. In a move that has stunned the nation, the DA has released a detailed dossier, reportedly containing bank statements, property records, and internal correspondence alleging that millions of rands were secretly diverted into foreign accounts and hidden trusts linked to President Ramaphosa's associates. The opposition party claims that the money originated from state contracts, donor contributions, and public enterprise deals, redirected through a web of shell companies that concealed ownership trails. At a press briefing that has since gone viral, DA leader John Steenhuisen described the revelations as the smoking gun South Africa has been waiting for. He went on to say, "The evidence is clear. The president cannot claim ignorance. These transactions have his fingerprints all over them." According to the DA, the documents came from a whistleblower inside one of South Africa's largest financial institutions, who reportedly provided records spanning several years. The leaked files allegedly trace payments between companies owned by close allies of Ramaphosa and offshore entities registered in Mauritius, the United Arab Emirates, and Luxembourg. Investigators within the DA's legal team say these funds were later used to purchase luxury real estate, private investments, and international assets, none of which appear in Ramaphosa's official financial disclosures. If proven true, this could mark one of the largest political corruption scandals in the country's post-apartheid history. What's adding fuel to the fire is the DA's claim that these discoveries connect directly to the controversial Fela Farm scandal, the case involving hidden foreign currency allegedly stolen from the president's private property. The DA alleges that Fela may have been just one piece of a much larger operation, a financial system used to store undeclared income and launder funds beyond South Africa's oversight. The farm money was just the tip of the iceberg, one DA spokesperson said. What we've uncovered suggests that similar transactions happened repeatedly, across multiple financial jurisdictions. Within hours of the DA's announcement, the presidency issued a brief statement dismissing the claims as politically motivated lies. Presidential spokesperson Vincent Magwenya stated, "The president has always declared all his assets and income in full compliance with the law. These allegations are desperate attempts to destabilize the nation ahead of election season." But insiders say the denial hasn't slowed the storm. Social media has exploded with debate, as South Africans demand that Ramaphosa come forward publicly and explain the financial evidence now circulating online. Opposition parties are calling for an independent forensic audit, and several civic groups are preparing to lodge formal criminal complaints with the Hawks and the Public Protector. Inside Parliament, chaos erupted as DA members confronted ANC leadership over the allegations. Heated shouting matches broke out during question time, with calls for Ramaphosa to step aside pending investigation. One MP reportedly shouted, "You cannot preach clean governance when your own hands are dirty." ANC representatives retaliated, accusing the DA of fabricating documents and spreading misinformation to manipulate voters ahead of the upcoming elections. But what truly raised eyebrows was the silence from some senior ANC officials, many of whom refused to defend the president directly, instead urging the media to wait for verification. That silence, analysts say, speaks volumes. Independent economists and anti-corruption experts have begun examining the leaked material. Several confirmed that some of the account codes and transaction patterns appear legitimate, suggesting that at least part of the DA's evidence may be authentic. One analyst said, "If these records are genuine, they point to a sophisticated financial network that could not exist without high-level cooperation." Others warn that if the funds originated from state contracts, it could violate both domestic and international anti-corruption laws, potentially inviting foreign investigations under money laundering treaties. This would not only endanger Ramaphosa's presidency but could also trigger sanctions or restrictions on South African financial institutions linked to the transfers. The public response has been explosive. Hashtags like #RamaphosaExposed, #HiddenWealth, and #DA reveals the truth are trending across social media platforms. Some South Africans express outrage, calling for immediate resignation and prosecution. Others urge caution, saying the DA's claims should be independently verified before conclusions are drawn. Outside the union buildings, small groups of protesters have already gathered, demanding accountability. Civil society leaders are calling for complete transparency, insisting that South Africans deserve to know whether their president has been enriching himself while citizens struggle with unemployment and poverty. Legal experts predict that this could trigger a new parliamentary inquiry or even a motion of no confidence if the evidence gains credibility. The DA has formally submitted the dossier to both the South African Reserve Bank and the Special Investigating Unit, SIU, for verification. If those bodies find even partial truth in the allegations, the president could face serious consequences, ranging from impeachment to criminal prosecution. Meanwhile, international attention is growing. Foreign media outlets have picked up the story, noting the similarities between this scandal and previous high-profile corruption cases that destabilized African administrations. For years, Ramaphosa has positioned himself as the face of renewal, the leader who would cleanse the ANC of corruption after the Zuma era. But now, the DA's explosive revelations threaten to undermine that entire narrative, painting a picture of a president allegedly benefiting from the same shadow networks he vowed to destroy. Political analysts say this could mark a turning point in South African politics, with voters no longer trusting traditional power structures. One commentator summed it up best: if the DA's evidence holds up, the era of moral high ground for Ramaphosa is officially over. South Africa stands at a crossroads. The allegations, whether true or exaggerated, have already shaken faith in government transparency and tested the strength of the country's democratic institutions. The DA has thrown down the gauntlet, and now the world watches to see if Ramaphosa will rise to the challenge or fall under the weight of scandal. This story is still developing, and you can be sure we'll keep uncovering every twist and turn. So make sure to subscribe, like, and turn on the notification bell, because what's coming next could change everything in South African politics.